Problem 2 gives us the exact same region, right? From 0 to 2, 4 minus x squared is our graph. But now it says use midpoints and 2 rectangles of width 1. So the width of my rectangles is still 1. The heights are going to be f of c, but we need to figure out where our ck values are. So my subintervals are going to look the same. The first rectangle starts at 0 and goes to 1. My second rectangle starts from 1 and goes to 2. So I know that this is where my rectangles begin and end. But the heights, it said use the midpoints. So the midpoint means on my first rectangle, I go to the center of that rectangle, and that's where I decide the height. So the center of the first rectangle is at x equals 1/2. The center of my second rectangle is at 3/2. I could have also calculated that by saying 1 minus 0 divided by 2 would give me 1/2. 2 minus 1 divided by 2 would give me 3/2. So you can just split each subinterval into its centers. So how do we sketch these rectangles? So now when you draw the height from the x-axis to the curve, you go to the center at 1/2. I draw a line up to the height, my triangle, right? That's where the height is. And now I complete my rectangle like this. So the midpoint determines how tall the triangle was. So midpoints generally have a slight advantage in functions like this because it shortchanges us a little bit of area here, but it grabs a little bit of extra here. Whereas on the previous example, we got all of an overestimate. For my second one, I'm going to go to the midpoint. That's going to be the height of that triangle. Oops. And so I can see, or not triangle, height of my rectangle. And so I can see once again, I lose a little, but I also gain a little extra. Now to estimate the area here, well, f of 1/2, I'm going to plug it into my function since I can't read the graph as nice. And that's 4 minus 1/4, which is 15/4. F of 3/2 is 4 minus 3/2 squared. So that's 4 minus 9/4, and that works out to be 7/4. So now if I want to approximate my area, the width of each rectangle is still 1, so it's 1 times 15/4 plus 1 times 7/4, and the area is approximately 22/4, which you can leave just like it is, or if you just like to reduce your fractions, you can say it's approximately 11/2.